Hello potential driving instructors out there. My name is Anthony and this is Nikki.
Hello.
What we've decided to do is a frequently asked questions video for you because we get asked a lot of questions over the phone when people are thinking about becoming a driving instructor. We've printed off someone's email from last week. He asked some quite juicy questions that we thought were good, and we decided to cover them today to hopefully help you make a decision if we're the right company for you. So what is the process for PDIs when they start their training with DriveJohnsons?
Initially, when you decide to join and you want to, put pen to paper, we will we'll get you signed up, get you on our system, and I will also send you the information on how to complete a DBS initially, because that's what you need first and foremost. After your DBS comes back, that normally takes around 4 weeks, I say at the moment. You would then apply to be on the instructor's register. So that's where you get your PRN number. After you've got your PRN number, you're then able to then book your theory. That process is normally around 8 weeks, I think, from getting your starting your DBS to getting your theory, wouldn't you say, to booking your theory?
It can vary, but yeah, I'd say so. Sometimes your DBS can come back as quickly as 2 weeks, and sometimes 4, so it's safe to say what you've just said then.
Yeah, I think like at the moment we're kind of seeing like a turnaround, like with your DBS, in around like 2 to 3 weeks. It's certainly a lot better than what it was 6 months ago. After you've obviously, you've got your DBS back, you've applied to be on the instructor's register, you're booking your theory, you're getting that bit done. Now we will provide you with all of the information so that you can practice, so that you can prepare yourself for your theory. Once you've done that, you'll then start the practical side of your training. So that is moving on to your part 2, which is your 10 hours of training to make sure that you are safe. So ironing out all of those bad habits that you've picked up over the years. So, driving with, one hand, not checking your mirrors. So your trainer would be able to iron out all those bad habits with you, usually in around 10 hours, sometimes a little bit less. And then you would book your part 2 test. Can
I just add to that? We've got some brilliant theory training software as well to help you with your theory training. So you're not sort of left on your own to do the theory. We've got all the software to help you with the questions and the hazard perception, and obviously we've got resources on our website as well within our training zone. So, carry on.
That's okay. So then after you've completed your part 2, you would then move on to your 40 hours of training with your trainer, and that is the ability to be able to teach a pupil. Now, it's after completing those hours, you'll then be able to go on a trainee licence. Now, sometimes, the potential driving instructor, they don't want to sign on the dotted line straight away. They want to, perhaps they're feeling a little bit apprehensive. So what I will always do is I will ask the trainer to contact them, just so that they can put their mind at ease, answer any questions that they might have, and then they would then come back to me, and then we can then get the ball rolling. Then after you've done your 40 hours training, you can join us on the pink licence as a trainee. So we would do the groundwork for you. So we work very closely with our marketing team to make sure that you can hit the ground running, so that you have got pupils in your diary to be able to teach them for when you decide to join us. As I said, though, you're not obligated to join us after you've completed your training. Your trainee licence will run for 6 months, during which time you should hopefully pass as an ADI instructor.
You'll probably work it out for yourself if you like your trainer and you like how we are as a company, and you'll get to know the office staff as you're training, and that's kind of how we like to do it. See for yourself, and as the training progresses, we're quietly confident you'll like us as a company, and that's why we don't have like really any hidden small print or anything to tie you in to our franchise after your training.
So question number 2, how long does it take to become a driving instructor?
So you can qualify as quickly as 3 to 6 months, but you could take up to 2 years if you want to. The DVSA, once you've completed passed your theory test, you then have 2 years to qualify to become an instructor.
Question number 3, what is the quickest time that a PDI has qualified?
8 weeks, I believe. It was about 8 weeks. So it can be done that quickly if we can get the tests for you. It takes a lot of managing your tests and being proactive with trying to find your tests and booking for you and securing them. But 8 weeks is probably the quickest you can do it, and that's a push. Realistically, you could do it in sort of 12 weeks. That'll be more comfortable. What type of instructor training courses do we offer? Because you get asked that a lot.
All the time.
Over the phone.
All the time, and I think it really depends on the individual. So, you know, a lot of the time we have people that come to us that are, you know, in full-time employment, and they need something that's going to work around that. We can tailor a course where you can go at your own pace. So it might be that you would start off with, you know, a couple of hours training a week, and once you kind of get towards the end of those 40 hours, you might want to build up that momentum just to kind of, you know, get it done. But we've also, you know, there's always those people that will call up and they want to get it done quite quickly. So we can just tailor it to your needs. And, you know, we kind of do the legwork for you to make sure that that does happen, so that you can go as quickly or as slowly as what you want to.
We've got sometimes people that come to us and they want to do 2-to-1 training. We can do that. If you want to do it in 1 week, we can do it in 1 week, although we don't recommend that. And as Nikki said, people often get the ball rolling, and because sometimes you wait for your part 2 test. It can be a couple of months to wait for your part 2 test. In that time, we can even do it backwards. We can do your part 3 training whilst we're waiting for your part 2. So when you pass the part 2 training, you've pretty much completed all of your training and you're good to start on the pink license. So you tell us what you're after and we can probably adjust the course to your needs. Mm-hmm. Are you obligated to join the DriveJohnson's franchise, Nikki, if you do the training with us?
You're not obligated to join the franchise. Obviously, we do like it if you do join us. So you can just do your training and walk away, but I will always, you know, contact you and ask if you want to join, because we do offer that PDI support, and that is something that we do specialise in. You know, it's the case of where, you know, you would get that support on a pink licence. You know, you'd make sure that you're getting those pupils coming through to you so that you can, you know, train your pupils, gain that experience. I think I can count on one hand the amount of instructors that complete their, you know, their part 2 training. They do some extra training, they go into their test straight, they go for their part 3 test straight away and they don't pass. So I always advise that you you go through like the trainee license route just to get that experience that you can pass your part 3 test.
The test changed quite a few years ago from Roleplay, where your examiner was playing the role of a pupil, to the current test where you have to provide a driving lesson with the examiner in the back observing. That gives even more reason why people go onto the trainee license now, because when you do the majority of your training with us, it will be role play based with your instructor. So your instructor will pretend to be a young 17-year-old lad or whatever the scenario is. They'll give you a scenario and they'll give you a style of driving, and they'll make some common mistakes, and it's up to you to correct these mistakes. As your training progresses, you will get better and you'll start to work out training methods and ways of identifying the fault and giving solutions to the pupils' problems. But for a lot of PDIs, they do struggle with the role play a little bit, and because the instructor obviously knows more than them. You can take all of those skills that you've learned with your trainer and then apply them to your learners and get the real experience, and that's really the benefits of the trainee license as well. Yeah, and I would just to add to that, when you go on your trainee license, the support just doesn't just stop there. Like, you would have, you know, full support from myself at the office, as well as Anthony, with any problems that might come up. We are always here to help you with any problems that you might be having with your pupils, with your training, where, you know, it might be the case where, you know, you're on your last attempt. You know, we will make sure that we get you through, and, you know, we'll drag you, you know, to the finish line to make sure that you do get there. So my question to you, Anthony, what do we think of training courses predominantly offering VR training and online Zoom training? Often these courses are significantly cheaper. There's the old saying, you know, you get what you pay for to a certain degree. So I'd just be mindful of that. The reason why these companies perhaps are offering VR training or Zoom classes or getting more bums on seats and killing lots of birds with one stone is because they can make more money and they only have to have one trainer providing the training. Or in the instance with VR, once you've built the technology, they can just sit you on your computer, and it's a good way of them making money and basically ticking the boxes so you can go onto the trainee license. However, the question you need to ask yourself is, do I just want to tick the boxes to go onto a trainee license, or do I want to have a good chance of passing my part 3? Because remember, when you go onto the trainee license, you only got 6 months. You might be able to get a second license, which would take you to 12, but do you want a short-lived career as a driving instructor, or do you want to be doing it for the next 10, 15, 20 years? Often we have PDIs come to DriveJohnsons from other companies, and they've kind of learnt the hard way when they go on to the trainee license and then they have a trainer sit in the back of their car, and then it's a little bit of a reality check for them and they get a little bit upset and disheartened, and that's where we pick up the pieces for them and help them and get them through. Unfortunately, it probably costs them more in the long run doing it like that, ticking the boxes to get on the trainee license quickly. Our philosophy is we want you to qualify, we want you to be with the company for a long time.
Why doesn't DriveJohnson's pay for the additional 20 hours like some other companies do?
We haven't tied you into a 6, 12 or 24 month contract. You could leave us with 4 to 8 weeks notice depending on your training situation. So the 20 additional hours, if you signed a 24-month contract with another company, they've got 24 months at best part of £1,000 a month. So 24 grand will pay quite comfortably for probably about the £1,000 training you need in the 20 hours. So that's why we can't really afford to do the 20 hours for free, because we make no money on our training, by the way. So we're hoping once you've done your training with us, you'll join our franchise. Obviously when you're first starting up and you need pupils, we'll be pumping a lot of money into the marketing. We've got a very good presence on Google and social media, etc. So we've got a natural presence anyway, but sometimes we do have to push it out a little bit, spend money on and invest in you so you've got a full diary quickly again, otherwise you could leave us.
Yeah.
So which brings us on to our next question, Nikki, that I have for you is, can we guarantee PDIs the work?
So once a PDI has done their training and they want to join the franchise, I'm very honest with them, and depending on their area, I will let them know what they can expect. You would have everyone that joins does get a 2-week trial with us to see how good we are for the work. You pay a small deposit for that. If you're not happy before that 2-week trial ends, because you have that 2-week trial with us, either we've not satisfied you with the service that you've received, or the level of pupils, the required amount of pupils that we've said that we will send over to you, then you get your deposit back. If you decide to stay with us for longer than that period, then it's only 4 weeks notice to leave. But we will try endlessly to make sure that we are pushing the marketing to make sure that you do get pupils in that area. Now that we cover many areas all over the UK, and a lot of areas are fully established with driving instructors already, so it's not as if it's going to be that difficult for us to do, but we are always honest with you in terms of that. Moving on to the last question. Anthony, how would you say DriveJohnson's differs to other training providers?
The company started in 2005. So I've been doing it quite a while now, and the company just started with myself and my car, and I never had a plan to grow the company to where it is now. We do have some brilliant trainers. They're all in-house, so I know all of our trainers very well, so does Nikki. They've come to me for training, and we also have an ex-DVSA examiner that's employed by DriveJohnsons as well. When you join us, you'll join our social media page. It's a closed group for DriveJohnson's instructors, but you'll get a feel of the instructors are on there, and they say some lovely things about the company, and that's sort of what keeps me going, is helping others, and the positive feedback from our instructors sort of makes us want to keep doing it. And we won't sub you out to anyone that we don't know, and I know a lot of companies do that. They'll sign you up, but they don't even have a trainer for you, and then they'll ring around and try and find you a trainer later. I can't bring myself to do that to you, because you've only got 3 lives at becoming an instructor on the part 2 and on the part 3, and it's your livelihood, and I'm made from the same cloth as yourself. So for me, it kills me when people are on their 3rd attempt, and we'll do all sorts of things to get them through.
Yeah.
And I just know other companies don't do that, and that's another reason if you get to that stage, which you shouldn't do if you start your training with us, but we do have a lot of PDIs that come to us on their last attempt, and we get to know them, we feel sorry for them, and I'll do whatever I can along with the trainers to help them. So I think, in answer to your question, Nikki, I genuinely care. Most CEOs, directors of the larger companies aren't qualified instructors. They didn't start their companies from the bottom and bring it to where it is now. And obviously I'm sort of proof of that. Unfortunately, I started it at quite a young age, so I was able to do that. I don't know if I could start all again at 40, but that's sort of why I would say we're different.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's a great answer. I don't think there's any more questions, is there? I think we're done. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. So the chap that emailed us in, we can send him this video.
Yeah, we can do, yeah.
And hopefully this video's helped you with some of those common or niggly questions that you just can't find on the internet. And I think that wraps us up, doesn't it?
Yeah, brilliant.